Okay, hello everyone. My name is Laquan Williams, and today in this video, this topic is going to be on Black Lightning, which is what I'm going to discuss. It's basically the spinoff of what's going to take place with Khalil. He is the character on the show. He plays Painkiller, which is his not alt. It's kind of his alter ego, but he actually plays him as well because he did have a couple episodes where he actually did have to fight the different version of him inside his head because of what happened to him, obviously with his accident, him obviously losing mobility in his legs because obviously he had a spine injury because he got shot in the show by a couple of the bad guys, which are in charge, which are in charge of Freeland, but they're ran and obviously operated under Tobias Whale, who's the bad guy there. So they're called the 100, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to remember, but I watch this every season. But I believe it's the 100, and Tobias Whale is obviously the bad guy. He is in charge of them. They're a big, huge street gang in the city of Freeland, which takes place where Black Lightning takes place. So he's supposed to have his own show that's going to be taking place, obviously, this year before the year's over. The first episode and pilot is supposed to be shown and taking place within the last season of Black Lightning, which is currently happening today. The first episode of the last season is on today, on February 8th, 2021. It's supposed to be 13 episodes in total. This article was put out on November 12th, 2020, a couple months ago on TV Insider. Black Lightning it was announced that Black Lightning was canceled. It's going to be ending a couple months ago. It actually hasn't been canceled, but they're saying it's ending. There has not been any official release statement, but I've been seeing, and obviously hearing that basically the show has been having creative issues. I don't know if that's been the struggle behind the scenes, but ratings haven't been an issue. But the show is reportedly ending now in its fourth and final season, and that first episode is happening today. You could see it right now, probably on CW.com and obviously on their TV with reruns. But this is what is taking place. This is Black Lightning spinoff about Painkiller is going to air as a backdoor pilot in the season 4, the final season of the Black Lightning TV show, which takes place today. The first episode is on today, on February 8th, like I said. It's going to be a Planet Pilot spin-off titled Painkiller. The episode is going to be following Jordan Calloway, which is the actor right here, who plays Khalil Payne. It's in the works, and it's going to air as the 7th episode of the upcoming Black Lightning Season 4, which is the last season. Like I said, it's got 13 episodes in total. It's going to follow Khalil, who is ridden with a guilt due to his time as a super-enhanced killing machine known as Painkiller, as both part of Tobias Whale's gang, the 100, and also a weapon of Agent Odell in the shadowy ASA. They're kind of like a shield, but they're not. It's kind of like I would say Hydra, obviously, because they're bad, but they're a government agency, so you could just picture that, obviously. After attempting to bury the darker, devastatingly lethal Painkiller, the darker devastatingly, haven't heard that one before, that word. I know devastating or devastated, but not devastatingly. But anyways, Painkiller, part of his persona, Khalil has distanced himself away from everyone he knows and obviously loves in his new city. It's so bad, obviously. What happened in the last season? The ASA brainwashed him and he killed his own mother. It was insane. He's going to be in a new city that's not Freeland. It's called Akashic Valley in order to find peace. But peace never comes easy for men with past like Khalil Payne. And Painkiller, the log line reads, and his violent. This continues in the article. It says, as his violent, destructive history crashes at his idyllic new beginning, Khalil is thrusted back into action with a new mission: bring justice where he once gave out punishment. But to do that, he will first have to deal with and obviously harness his darker side, Painkiller. Salim Akil will executive produce it, write and direct the pilot, and he's obviously already on the show. Characters Tony Isabella. It's based on characters Tony Isabella with Eddie Newell, created for DC. We'll see what happens with that. So basically, his potential spinoff is going to take place they're stating that it's going to happen, but we'll see. Obviously, because as you can read right here, and I talked about this in a video I put out a little while ago, the Green Arrow spin off the Green Canary and the Canaries. It's not going to happen. Green Arrow and the Canaries is not going to happen. It says neither have those have been picked up for the in 100. Arrow and the 100 each aired in their final seasons. But neither of them picked up. And Nancy Drew maybe getting a spin-off as well, but we'll see what happens with that. But the Green Arrow and the Canary show isn't happening. It was announced about 2.5-3 weeks ago that the show has not been picked up. They're not going to do it. It's dead in the water. It's canceled. There was no press release or explanation by the CW why they canceled it. They just said they're not doing it. They did multiple episodes behind the back of the, obviously, backdoor pilot of the show for the Green Arrow, and they had crossovers and everything, and they canceled it, and they said that's not going to happen. They put money and time into the characters, everything, backstories, and they just didn't do it. They even had, obviously, the interaction of the Green Arrow, Oliver Queen, with his kids, who are supposed to be taking his place now that he's dead in the future, which is when the show takes place, but that was canceled. And it was supposed to be picked up, but they didn't say anything for months, so we'll see what happens with Black Lightning and Khalil. His character Painkiller. It'll be very interesting to see what happens. He's kind of just like, it's basically just like the show, obviously, the Winter Soldier and the Falcon, but this is going to be the Winter Soldier by himself. Khalil is similar to the Winter Soldier. He was brainwashed, given superhuman strength, powers, and abilities, obviously, as you can see when you watch the show. He was, and even enhanced his thinking as well. It was kind of like the Matrix too. He was like, oh, I know how to do kung fu and martial arts. I know how to do all this stuff now. It was just like the Matrix, the first Matrix movie, when Keanu Reeves was put into the machine and he jacked into the Matrix. And he says, I want to learn kung fu. Once he got the program in his mind, he said, well, 30 seconds later, I know kung fu. That's when obviously Morpheus, played by Lawrence Fishburne, told Keanu Reeves, his character Neo, okay, show me. And they obviously fought. That was the first Matrix movie. It was just like that. Cleo was able to, I would say not heal faster, but he was less acceptable to pain. He obviously had superhuman strength, and he was mobile because he had his spine shot with a gunshot wound to the back by a bad guy that was put out by the 100, which was Tobias Well. It was accidental shooting. The preacher in the show got shot, and they were aiming for him. Khalil got hit as collateral damage, and he lost his mobility. And obviously, Tobias Well, the bad guy on the show, said, okay, I can use this to my advantage. I will tell him that I'm going to help him out. And he used him and gave him mobility and power and said, you're going to do my bidding. This is when he had dreads as Painkiller early on. And he told him, obviously, you're going to, and this is, you kind of see the character with the dreads right here in the comic books. He added himself. He had dreads on the show early on. He had him attack his schoolmates. He attacked Black Lightning. He almost, killed him. They kind of made it seem like it was going to happen in a way, because the painkiller treatment / drugs that he was hitting people with was not only just putting them to sleep, but it was kind of hurting them in a way. Obviously, it was like neurotoxins, something like that. But it was very interesting to see how that happened, and what's going to happen. And then obviously, after getting shot and being in a wheelchair, he gave him the abilities. The ability to walk, not the ability and the power. The ASA helped him out with that. Turned him basically into a superhuman soldier, like I said, Captain America, and obviously the Winter Soldier. How he was, he was, really skinny, thin. He got, he went to the ASA. Now he's got the huge biceps, arms, and all that. That's what he had when he became Painkiller, like 2.0 with ASA, with the shadow government, the kind of, like I said, operation / military operation, like I said, like Hydra, but obviously not as big. Well, I would say not as big, but they're still very important and dangerous. When he was with Tobias Whale, he got the spine obviously enhancement. I would say they weren't injections, but they were on him. It was like obviously a metal like spine implanted into him, but it was different. than what the ASA gave him. What Tobias had was good, but it was less technologically advanced. That's why when he told Tobias, "I'm not working for you anymore," Tobias was able to beat him up and literally rip his spine out of his back, like Mortal Kombat style, a Scorpion or Sub-Zero. Literally, he did that. You can see the show. I forgot the episode, but it was in season, I believe it was early season 2. I would say probably mid-season 2. But the second season, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm going to the third. But that's what happened when he went to ASA. They helped him out. His what he had for his spine was way more less noticeable. His advancement, his ability, his mobility was way better for him. He was able to walk around faster. Obviously, he didn't need obviously the wheelchair. And obviously, they gave him better enhancements because they improved him as a superhuman, because they gave him superhuman strength and abilities. Because that's what they wanted. They wanted to turn all the kids in Freeland in the TV show into metahumans and use them as their guinea pigs to take over, obviously, and attack the Markovians, and which are another bad guy. They're obviously another organization. They're bad guys, but they're foreign. It's like kind of like the Russian KGB if they had obviously Hydra influenced, and then they had their own superhuman metahumans, but they also were taking the metahumans that were in Freeland, the kids, and they would put them in pods, and they would freeze them for years and years, kind of like how Han Solo was frozen in carbonite in Star Wars, but he was like that for years, but they kept them, it wasn't 20 years, they kept these people in these chambers for like 10, 15, even 20 years to harness their powers and their energy, and to keep them in there and to use them for their bidding. So that's how Black Lightning basically has all the metahuman, obviously superhero ties to it. So that's what I wanted to show you on here and on this article, Black Lightning, and this is the synopsis for it. It's called War. Promises War a New Face is what the synopsis is for the synopsis for season 4, episode 2. It teases trouble in Freeland and at home as tensions from the premiere continue. This was put out on January 31st, 2021, about a week ago. This is the synopsis for the second episode. It says that the Book of Reconstruction, Chapter 2, the conflict between the 100 and the Cobra Cartel. They're a new gang, obviously, in Black Lightning. They're going to be a new rival gang taking on the 100. Are going to be strong, and the episode debuts with a whole different type of tension between Lynn, which is Black Lightning's wife, and Jefferson, which is Black Lightning. His real name is Jefferson Pierce right here. Here's 2 daughters, Thunder and Lightning. And basically, they're going to have new characters in the show. Some were obviously dying last, obviously, couple of years, with changes being taking place. But it's just very interesting to see what's going to happen. Obviously, with Painkiller, it's the spinoff going forward. How it's going to be. Hopefully it's picked up. I hope it is. It sucks, obviously. Black Lightning is going to be this is over. It was said that it wasn't canceled, but it's going to be obviously ending. There's some creative control issues, I guess, struggles behind the scenes. That's what I've been hearing, which is why the show is ending. The actor that plays Jennifer on the show, she stated that she actually was going to leave the show after this season was over, and that this is her last season. And it's stating right here that the Painkiller spinoff is going to happen. The actor that plays Jennifer, she's right here. She is the youngest daughter of Black Lightning. She said that she actually is going to be leaving the show. She said, I was actually going to be leaving the show before I found out that we were actually canceled. Her name is China Ann McClain. She plays, obviously, Jennifer Pierce, Black Lightning's youngest daughter, who's Lightning. And his other daughter, played by Nafisa Williams, is Jennifer Pierce. China Ann McClain is Jennifer Pierce. Nafisa Williams plays Anissa Pierce, which is obviously Thunder, his older daughter, right here. That's Lightning, Thunder and Lightning. I don't know if she's going to have her own possibly spinoff as well. I don't know, but they're stating that this is going to happen still. The Painkiller spinoff. Hopefully it's successful, but it's just very unfortunate to see all these shows just leaving it within the last year on the CW. Like I stated before, Black Lightning, now Supergirl is obviously gone, Supernatural's over, Green Arrow's over, and we'll just see what happens. It's very interesting to see what's going to be taking place. New shows obviously are Stargirl, Batwoman, and the new Lois Lane and Superman show, which I talked about. CW has been having lots of changes in the last couple of years with Greg Berlanti leaving, and these shows obviously deciding to stop for basically creative purposes. And basically, some people say, ratings and whatnot, but they do keep the shows on for a long time. Unlike other networks, I see that even if the ratings do dip a little bit, they still don't back away and cut the show off completely and entirely, which I think is great, because other networks just say, a couple episodes and that's it, we're not going to continue the show. And then which is why it's very unfortunate that John Constantine's show is not on the CW, which you would think it would be, because the character Matt Ryan is the actor Matt Ryan is playing him, the character, but they're not going to give him his own show. It was stated last year, but on NBC, he had 3-4 years ago, he played him. That's how he was introduced first. He played him, and he had one season, 13 episodes. It was canceled. NBC tried not to put out the DVD. People got into a massive uproar and caused them to do it, by pressure. I was somebody who watched the whole show. I have the DVD whole season. I have it on Blu-ray, and I'm saying it sucks that he's not on there, because I know if he got his chance to do it, he could have more than one season, which he was not granted on the NBC. NBC said, we're going to cut it off because the ratings were dipping, and there won't be no more seasons of it. So that's what happened. But we'll see what happens. There's other spin-off shows taking place. I don't know what's going to happen with Black Lightning and Painkiller. Obviously, if his show is going to continue, hopefully it does go through. Hopefully, obviously, other shows that are supposed to happen, possibly like the Green Arrow and the Canaries, do take place maybe sometime before this year's over. They announced that they decided to change their mind and pick it up at the CW, which is owned by Warner Brothers. Hopefully they change their mind, but as of right now, that's not happening. But it's going to be very interesting to see Khalil obviously let loose and obviously given his chance to take down bad guys as basically a bad guy gone good, which is a kind of vigilante type of ordeal, handing out justice in Black Lightning, obviously, because obviously what happened to him, and him probably trying to take down elements of the ASA behind the scenes, obviously, because it's still in and going to be on the show in some type of capacity. They'll be back somehow, but obviously they brainwashed him to kill his own mother, so obviously they're going to be number one on his hit list, besides obviously the rival street gangs. But we'll see what's going to happen. I don't know. It's very interesting to see how what happens when these shows get announced, and then you're super excited, obviously, with backdoor pilots and stuff, and then the next thing you know, just like I said with the Green Arrow and the Canaries, they cut it off just a couple weeks ago, and they stated that CW and Warner Brothers are not going to continue it. No explanation given, whatever. We're all left in the dark here, wondering why the show hasn't been picked up. So that's why I'm stating this Black Lightning backdoor pilot spinoff. I hope it's going to happen, because you're going to see an episode of it on the show. It's going to be the 7th episode this season, season 4, the last season of Black Lightning. Hopefully it does happen, because obviously, like I said, multiple episodes took place on Green Arrow with a crossover. They had the Green Arrow and the Canaries, and they had all the characters. They showed them, and they gave us backstory to everybody, how everything happened after Oliver Queen died, why they're trying to look for Felicity Smoke, their mother in the future, Mia Queen, and obviously his son William, and obviously them trying to fight up against obviously the Deathstroke and obviously his forces as they try to become the new resistance in the city. Obviously, now that it's taking place in the future, and obviously things are different. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, that's all I have to state in this video. Again, this was stating on CBR.com. I believe it's Comic Book Resources about Black Lightning's 2nd episode, which is going to air next week. For the 4th season, the synopsis behind it. And obviously, a preview of what's going to happen with Khalil's show, the Black Lightning Painkiller spinoff, and will it take place? And obviously, them stating obviously the obvious that it was canceled. So we'll see what happens if the Painkiller show, obviously, as you can see, is still going to happen. It's obviously a mystery, but we'll see what happens. I hope it does. It's just, like I said, it's gonna suck if this happens. Just like what happened with the Green Arrow and the Canaries. They put out multiple episodes. They introduce the characters. They give the backstory, and then the next thing you know, we're like waiting around, like, wow, it's been months. What happened? 4 or 5 months go by, and finally they say, we're not gonna put the show out now. Finally, and I'm actually surprised because they have open spaces. They're about to lose Black Lightning and Supergirl. That's 2 shows off your schedule and off your network, and obviously off your schedule for the week. Why don't they just add it in? But we'll see what happens. I don't know. Things changed. Obviously, they gave Constantine his own show, but they have a Justice League Dark animated version of him on the CW Seed, but you can only watch that online. And the Vixen character from the DC Legends of Tomorrow, she has her own show too, but it's only on CW Seed. It's animated. The Justice League Dark show's animated too. They're only online. They're not live action shows. They're only animated, but it's still cool. But I just wanted to see him actually on TV with John Constantine. Obviously, I have him on my T-shirt. His own show, and obviously the universe and the characters that he had with Papa Midnight and everybody else that was on the show brought back in, obviously, to on screen with the same actors, because he's still there as playing the same guy, Matt Ryan, Constantine. But we'll see what, obviously, with Khalil. Hopefully he gets his own show. It's going to be very interesting. The martial arts and the stunts that he had on the show in Black Lightning in Season 3 were great. New suit, obviously, as you can see, and he's it's a much different look on it. His enhanced goggles allow him to see in the dark and pretty far away, obviously, as you can see with the lighting right there, obviously, on it. Green. Thermal imaging, body heat, and just like that, you can pick up from a distance and see in the dark. Pretty good with those. And it's pretty good. So we'll see what happens with that. Hopefully he does get his show, and they don't just do what Black Lightning doesn't do what happened with the Green Arrow and the Canaries and just say, oh, we're going to put all this time in it and the characters and money, and then we're just going to cut it out, pull the plug at the last minute, months down the line, and then you don't understand what happened. There's no explanation given. So that's what we'll see what happens. But that's all I have to state in this video and explaining about this obviously topic, which is the Black Lightning spin-off show, Painkiller, that's going to happen. And hopefully it still does happen, but his episode is going to be in a couple weeks. It's going to be the 7th episode of the 4th and last season of Black Lightning. It's going to be introduced, and they're based off of the reaction that's going to show the network how people are going to receive it, and how people have received it. Obviously, how the perception of the show, of the episode, how it's going to change. If people are going to state, well, let's not drift too far away from the story, but it depends on, obviously, the interest of it. If it's interesting and people are excited, they're going to say, okay, we're going to go forward with it and give it the green light. But I don't know, things change, obviously. Like I said, the network did the same thing with the Green Arrow and the Canary show, and they cut 4 or 5 episodes. They had all the characters in there, and they introduced them. It looked like it was going to be great, green to go, and then they cut it off 5 months later. It just, like I said, it was just announced 2 weeks ago. They're not doing it. So we'll see what happens with that. Hopefully that changes, but let me know what you think about this, and if anybody has any questions about if they think that the show should actually continue, what happened, why the show it's not going to be renewed for a 5th season, and hopefully I thought it was going to be for at least 5, 6, but things change, obviously, so we'll see what happens, obviously. Something that we obviously know is that lots of times shows, networks say, well, you know what, I think we can save some money here, so let's just take this show down, cut this a little, shorter. It happens, USA TV, the network, the last season of the show with Matt Bomer, his show that was on there called, I forgot what it was called, but anyways, his show that was on the network, he and the rest of the cast were costing the network so much money, they said, we're going to cut this show short, and we're going to give the final season only 6 episodes because the show started to get expensive. But it depends on what happens. Obviously, I remember that happened with Burn Notice too. They decided to cut it off because it was costing too much money on the same network, 2 USA. Then we get shows like that, and obviously Covert Affairs, the shows that end with no closure, they just end with a cliffhanger, and that always sucks when that takes place. But we'll see what happens. I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but we'll see what happens for Black Lightning. Spin-off, obviously Painkiller, if it still happens. But thank you for watching. If that's all I have to state and say in this video in regards to this topic in the video. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions or if you want to watch any of my other videos, you can. I have everything that I have. Where I have all my other videos are linked down below. You can see them as well if you click on the links down below. I have them on other places besides wherever you're watching them at. Just I have them in multiple places besides YouTube. I am on Library Odyssey, which is owned and obviously ran by the same people, LBRY, that's Library. I'm on Odyssey as well. I'm also on Minds.com, and obviously you can also see them also on BitChute as well. I post my gaming videos on the same channel as well. I have a movie channel that I'm going to be putting stuff on as well. It's called Reboots and Reshoots. It's my second YouTube channel. It's also in the description box. You can click that link as well. I'm going to be posting stuff on there too, based on what I see with obviously the Hollywood movies being reshot, and obviously continuing the beating the dead horse, which is more franchises rebooting over and over again. Like I said, you can see that obviously with movies like RoboCop or other movies like the Transformers movies. Are going to keep doing new versions of it. So, in other movies as well, because obviously there are no movie theaters open right now, so there's still news out there for the movies, but we'll see what happens. Again, thank you for watching, and that's all I have to say in the end, obviously, but thanks for watching again. Bye.